All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Hashtag F2BQ is Fade to Black questions. And you can post everything up there. For myself, for tonight's guest, Kevin Moore. It's going to get a little heated in here tonight, so I had to wear a T-shirt. Yeah. Getting ready. Getting ready. I'm shadow boxing. Kevin Moore. Tomorrow night, Dr. Robert Schock is here. Wednesday night, it is Randall Carlson. So we've got a great week lined up. Of course, Thursday night will be another Fader night with open lines all night long. Quickly becoming my favorite night of the week, except for tonight because Kevin is here. Kevin is a UK-based radio and television host. He's a journalist, film producer, filmmaker, director. His show, The Kevin Moore Show, provides a platform for which some of the world's greatest philosophers, paranormal researchers, life coaches, spiritual teachers, authors can communicate their work, research, observations, and reflections, and infuse into our common knowledge their understanding of life in the universe. The guests are experienced individuals who aspire to empower and teach the viewers, listeners, to search for spiritual solutions to their daily living. Kevin is currently working on not one, but 2 documentary films, which we will be discussing tonight, as well as his career, his show, and the current state of our precious and beautiful community. The website is thekevinmooreshow.com, and I would like to welcome for the first time to Fade to Black, Kevin Moore. Kevin, how you doing?
I'm good, Jimmy, and thank you very much for having me on.
Hey, Kevin, before we get started, okay, you know what? First things first, I got to do the first-time guest disclaimer. So let's get that out of the way, all right? Which is, Kevin, it's just you and I sitting on my couch having a conversation as friends. And where that conversation starts, it starts. Where it ends, but we'll end as friends. You ready to go?
I am, mate. I am. Let's do this.
Okay. First question out of the gate. Tell me you've got a jump shot. Just tell me you've got a jump shot.
Of course, Jimmy.
Okay. How, Kevin? I'm 6 foot tall. How tall are you?
You know, I'm about 6'5". So we've met each other before, and so I'm 6'5". I should have been a basketball player, right?
You should have. The picture that you and I took together, you don't look 6'5".
I remember that picture now. That's right. Yes. Yeah.
I don't know if I was slouching that day, and that day you were standing straight and proud. I don't know, but you look much taller than that. But yeah, when you're given that kind of gift, right, physically, I hope you have a jump shot. That's all, so you can go out there and take advantage of what I don't have. That's incredible. Yeah, and incredible height. So anyway, let's back up a little bit here. I want to first introduce you to our audience, which most know who you are, but what they don't know about you is how you got started down this path. And I think it's an interesting one. Ouch. I don't know what that was. But did all of this start for you in school and college, or were you already on a paranormal path before that?
I think as I got close to the end of my old life, my past life, selling computer software and other things that I was doing, I remember getting into Alex Jones. I remember listening to a lot of Art Bell. I do not remember when and how it started.
Right.
But I just became addicted to art and probably a bit addicted to Alex Jones. And the career that I was doing, which was computer software, was just dying a death. It was at the sort of the time of 2008 when the crash was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I just decided to myself, I'm never going to put myself in a situation again where I don't have a career or something with qualifications to back myself up onto. So I had a career in electronics. That's what I studied at college back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to go to university at 30 years old,
right,
and study for radio broadcasting, which in the end I left that course and changed over to television. So I finished my degree in television.
Yeah, you and I, the reason why I bring that up is you and I did a lot of the very, very similar things. Career changes, 2008, we're adults, we're growing up, and then you go and just follow your passion at that age. And what I find about that is, first off, I'm glad that you did it. The second thing is, for the audience, go and do, if there is something, you're never too old. Right, just go and pull the trigger and follow your passion. Find your bliss. Go and do it. And
absolutely.
So, okay, now what about that?
Well, let me say this. I mean, listen, look, this is already out there, and I'll just say it as well. Look, prior to doing the computer software was something that I was self-employed. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't a company I was with. It was my own company. But also, I was involved in the adult industry as well. I had tried to get up and running a sex toy business, right, back in the day. And it never worked. It never fruitioned. It wasn't meant to be. Every time I tried to do something that wasn't in my alignment, it never worked out. And I have no embarrassment saying that. I don't really care, to be honest. This is information that's already been doxed on me,
right,
thanks to something else we're going to talk about a bit later on.
Right.
But I would just rather be open about it, right, and just be honest, something that a lot of us in this industry apparently are not very good at.
You know what I used to do?
No idea.
I'll just let it out now. I was a sign twirler in a Tigger outfit in front of an insurance company.
There you go. If that's true, Jimmy, there you go.
I did it with pride. And I would wear the Tigger outfit 24/7. I started to form a connection to it, so I would wear it. I would only take it off when I took a shower, and then I stopped taking showers, and I started cleaning myself with my tongue, the Tigger, and so there you go. It took a couple of years to wean off of it, but I eventually I went through a 12-step program.
The problem I find in this industry, right, and I call it an industry, but if we're going to be spiritual, we've got to be squeaky clean, almost Jesus-like.
Right.
And that's just not the reality of the industry or the way that it is.
Right.
I do believe we come down here for our soul to get the most out of everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, we're so easy, aren't we, just to turn on one another if we've not been completely, as I say, squeaky clean from the outset. And, that's just not life. It's not life.
Mm-hmm.
And, it never was for me anyway. So maybe I was a bit of a rogue. I don't know.
Yeah. See, I come from the music industry, and I lived through the 80s on the Sunset Strip and beyond.
Right.
So that's all I have to do is just say that. That's it. Anybody,
sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
That's it. You just go and use your imagination. Yeah. I've never claimed anything. So, but anyway, okay. But I think also what I'm very interested in is the paranormal aspect, because your knowledge, your foundation when it comes to channeling or the paranormal or UFOs or life after death and parallel worlds, time travel, all of these subjects that fall underneath that umbrella for this community, you have. Where did the interest for that come from?
Well, I had a UFO experience with my family, and we don't really talk about it. It's not something that we get together. It's not something we can even really get together and talk about, to be honest. It was such a weird, crazy experience.
How old were you? How old?
I think I was about 13.
Oh, so you remember it. Okay, what happened?
Oh, yeah. Well, I just remember this silver-shaped disc being outside the side of my house. I remember calling my parents thinking, what the hell is this thing that was hovering out there? We had no reference for it. My memory's faded. I remember going outside the front of the house, and then there was it had come across the house, and then I remember later on in the evening, multiple sort of crafts in the sky. And then my next memory from all this is some sort of cigar-shaped craft moving along the sky with the weirdest writing on the side. And my sister drew a picture of that the next day, and she still got that picture as a kid. And it's something we don't talk about. It's something we can't talk about because there's no reference to it. None of us understand or understood what it was. But I guess if that was my only experience I had, and if that was a trigger, then maybe I don't know. I don't know how useful those stories are. Do you know what I mean?
Did you go and start jumping into the subject and books and videos and everything else?
My father was very much into Edgar Cayce, and I detested those books that he had. I really could not stand them.
Right.
But it wasn't, like I say, till I got to probably 30 that I realized, oh my God, I do really enjoy these subjects. And if I was going to do something, I think I want to put my heart and into becoming what I thought back in the day was the next Art Bell, because I was so, he just inspired me so much. When he inspired me to go to university, that's what he did.
And when you started to get into radio, especially in the beginning, how quickly did you learn that it's not easy?
I remember the first day, right, I got the offer. I got syndicated in the UK on about 13 community radio stations. I just worked my butt off, right, to get this done whilst at university. And it just became my life. I went to uni to get a career. I knew what I was going for at 30. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And in the end, I remember phoning a TV company up in the UK that was on sort of a backwater station, on satellite station in the UK, and they agreed that I could have the chance to, broadcast on their platform for free once a week a TV show. So, as a student, we all got together in different departments, and we started the More Show for TV, and that was just at the beginning of the sort of transfer of going over to just doing a TV degree, basically. So yeah, I finished with a TV degree. But yeah, radio, it's, oh mate, I've been doing this for a while now, and it is, I don't know, I would say it's not easy doing it. With what you're doing right now, doing it every day, well, except for weekends, man, you gotta love it. And I don't think I love it as much as I did do.
Yeah. And plus, you see, yeah, and I even broadcast on the weekends because of Coast to Coast.
So, of course, yeah, Coast to Coast,
so there are some months that go by where I don't have any days off, where I broadcast every single night.
Well, because you love it, and I don't. And that's why I'm not the next Art Bell, and that's why, I'm not doing the things that I'm doing.
Yeah, and I was going to ask another question, but you just reminded me. When you go and listen to somebody that was he's no longer with us, as gifted as Art Bell was, or other radio host, and you can drive down the road or whatever and listen to him, and it seems like you can listen to him for hours, and that is how good they were at their craft.
Good.
Yeah,
he was good, and I'm from what I've been told, he wasn't. I mean, you knew him quite well, but you was working for him, weren't you, back in the day?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. He wasn't the most easiest man. That's the kind of feeling I get from people that I've spoken to. But what a broadcaster, and it's such a shame that he has crossed.
His effect on people, including myself and like you, right, was so profound that I think it is best that there are a lot of people out there that had very, very negative experiences with art, but there's nothing that those people can say about art, no matter what it is, that's going to affect people's memories or compassion that they have for the man. So I'm just going to let it, just rest. I'm not saying that, my experience was negative or all positive. What I haven't done and I won't do, I'm not going to share anything private about art. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not. And positive or negative, because those are all private things, right? We never did anything public together. So therefore, everything is private, and he's no longer here. So it just stays there, and that's it. And I think that's the best way to treat the man. So now, at the beginning of the Moore Show, before we hit this break, was it always spirituality and the paranormal and ascension? Was it always that from the beginning?
Yeah. My main thing for doing that show, I kind of got to this place in the end, was if I could get something from the place that we end up going to and that we've come from, that we could use in the present moment now, that would make this moment more fulfilling, more loving, more joyful, happier for others, then that's the information I kind of wanted to bring in to this show. Whether I achieved that or not, I don't know really. I know I helped some people. I got, a few emails back here and there that, I really helped people on their journey. And I, just obviously, what it's like when you're solo and stuff. It's difficult to do everything and get back to everyone, But I wanted to make others live a more fulfilling, joyous life, and for myself, to be honest, actually thinking about it as well, I also wanted it for my journey. I wanted to find out, is this true? Is there anything in this? And what have I discovered? I think I know just this, that we're a soul having a human experience, and we do create our reality. If I've learned anything that's key, it's probably that sums it up.
Where do you think we are with that today? Our community has been on a quest for a long time, seekers of knowledge and trying to figure out what's going on, and they know that things are different and they're trying to get to it. But then there's the other part. There's the science part, and there's the status quo part that chooses to ignore, simple thing like ghosts, right? They just choose to ignore it. Where are we with that today? With our own reality and these questions, are we getting close to answers?
And I think, as you know, I mean, my feeling on that is you've got to have the science in there. To ignore the science is just, how is that helpful? We live in a grounded, shared reality, and when we go beyond that shared reality into complete nonsense, I think that can't be helpful. I think science plays an important role. But I mean, to be too scientific and not spiritual, not have the balance, I think that's where the issues come in sometimes. But I do not deny science, and I think it plays a very important role. But unfortunately, most people into the sciences do unless there's repeatable proof there that something is and continues afterwards, the science is just not there yet. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and then when we have the scientists now, as they are learning more and more about the complexities of everything, including the universe, that it is now probably not as simple as what science was trying to say. It was leading up to this, that now there must be something going on. There's got to be something else a little bit more deeper here. And that would answer these complex issues of everything.
Right. When you consider the idea that the universe is infinite, for example, which I can't get that in my head. I'm pretty sure most people can't.
Right.
Then there are possibilities, but again, doing the work that I'm doing right now, the documentary that I'm doing right now, it's really helped to ground me. That do not get too far out there in the woo-woo, that we are here to have a human experience. And when you deny that part of you, and you want to be something that isn't kind of human in a sense, or you're denying what you could have here, that's a problem for me. That really is.
And it's a double-edged sword. And I'll tell you, I want your opinion on this. When we go too far into the woo-woo, you have those that are suggesting the woo-woo, right? Yeah. And then you have the audience that is accepting of the woo-woo. Why is it that the community is so ready to jump on board with absolutely fantastical stuff?
Why are they so wanting to jump on board, so easy to jump on board? Because it's escapism. It's a lot of people get into this from leaving religion. They want an alternative to religion, so they come into this community. I see it more and more nowadays. Right. And it's still that thing of tell me what to think, tell me what to do, and I'll do it. You know what I mean? But I don't know for the answer for that. I think it's just ungroundedness, but at the same time, I've been there. I've been on that journey of going too far to the woo-woo and not being grounded enough sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's the way you want to go, fine. But I'll say again, we do live in a shared reality, and to deny certain things is just not helpful for the human experience, I don't think.
Yeah, the woo woo for me very early on was Billy Meyer, and I went full in on Billy, and I was young, man. I was 21, right? This is 1985. And I jump into the Billy Meyer stuff, and quickly, it only took a couple of years later where I realized that it wasn't what it was supposed to be. And I hated that feeling of being sucked in.
And I think sometimes, I mean, what if some of these experiences are, people picking them up from other realities? I mean, it sounds so woo-woo to me right now saying that, right? Even though I've practiced channeling, we're going to get into all that, I know, on this interview, right?
Right.
But I mean, what if sometimes people are having bleed-throughs from other realities and stuff, and they think it's this reality, but actually it's not. You're just picking up on something else, and and the confusion sets in there. Maybe, but I mean, you talk about the Billy Meyer case, and I know, that would be for myself. I'd love to research that case one day and really look into it. But then, I've met Corey Good. I'm just going to say it. I told when I met Corey, I told his agent, I don't think I believe the story, and his agent was, well, I don't think you should. You should research it and look into it. But I know you've covered that story quite a bit, but I think I would love to do a documentary on Corey Good one day, a nice one, a sensible one. I don't think it would ever be as disruptive and painful as the one that I'm doing right now, right? I wouldn't do that. I mean, let's face it, he's not murdered anyone. But, when you look at Corey Good, there's a man that's talking about, leaving this atmosphere, having done 20 and back and everything else. Again, I don't know much about the story, but I'm just saying, well, that's an obvious one in the room, isn't it?
Well, we've been through it before. There is that situation there. There is, we could go back to things like the alien autopsy and selling, 50 million videotapes at $50 a pop. Think about that and the live Fox television show that was done and the people that still today believe that that's a real video. And they're so invested into it.
That's right. I could, or people like Emery Smith. I interviewed him. He seemed like a nice guy. Do I believe his story? No. I mean, people seem to think I do. Of course I don't. But, as a person seems quite a nice guy. But again, I've never researched his story. I can't really comment on it, right? But as someone that we've both met, that's where I stand on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I've said this many times. We've got to take a break here. Either people resonate with the story or they don't, right? And I leave it up to everybody, just like you do. It's up to you to go one way or the other. But
unless there's a documentary made on it and it shows that the story was absolutely fake, that's the difference.
Yeah. We'll get to that. That's not what I'm referring to, but of course, we'll get to that. What I'm saying is that when we have in our community things that we can't prove, like the flying saucer over your parents' house, right? Where I've had all of the sightings that I've had. I don't have.
But I don't have the story to contact in the desert. You know what I mean? I'm making money from it. That's the difference.
Right. But okay, hold on. What I'm saying is I don't have a T-shirt or anything, but I want people to listen to me and to, hopefully understand what I'm trying to say. And in this community, that's what we have to do, is be able to do that and practice discernment. What has happened, though, Kevin, is it's gotten out of control. And that's what you're referring to. Let's take a break right here. Our guest tonight is Kevin Moore, formerly of The Moore Show. Now as a documentarian. I'm just cracking a little funny there. Our guest tonight's Kevin Moore. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us. We'll be right back. More with Kevin after this short break. You're listening to a preview of Fade to Black. To get the full episode, go to jimmychurchradio.com. and get our podcast. Click on the podcast banner or sign up in the membership area for downloadable MP3s. Everything commercial free. Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Kevin Moore of The Moore Show, which he said, Kevin, did you actually say you don't care about The Moore Show anymore? Are you that knee deep into this film stuff now?
I would say that I've you know what? It's funny when you are following your bliss sometimes and following what really, what feels like purpose and what feels like a happy space to be in. Mm-hmm. A lot of things around you change. And that which you thought you were here to do can suddenly shift as well. And I guess, that's how I feel about my talk show right now. I've worked on doing my show for many years, put a lot of hours and love into it, just like yourself. But is that where I'm going to end up? Is that what I'm here to do? Is that my purpose? I don't know. I don't know anymore. Yeah, I honestly don't know where I'm at.
I'm gonna jump in and make a comment. I want your response. Recently, you invited me up to participate in your documentary on channeling, right? So I sat down with you and we did a wonderful taping and had a great time. But I asked you then, what's going on with the radio show? If you're over here, for months at a time shooting a documentaries, as in plural. 2 different projects. What about the show? And you were like, man, this is what I want to do right now. And I saw the passion in your eyes. And then you and I had an off-camera discussion about some of these subjects that you are working on. And your passion about it was frightening to me in that you knew this is what you were going to do, and that's it, and you were moving forward. And I got to say, I think you found your bliss. I really do.
Thank you. Yeah. God, it's not been an easy road there. It has not been an easy road. I don't know. Where do you want to start here?
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Okay. Let's go here first. I said to you off camera, I would never want to be caught by you, right? I said, man, you're the last person that I would want sniffing around me, and you understand exactly what I'm saying here. Once you pick up on the scent, Kevin, is it your personality? You're not going to let it go till you get to the end?
If I find that there's overwhelming evidence to show that something is not true, and you have the evidence there to show it, and it's repeatable, that's totally different. Armchair research is one thing, and armchair research is very important. Don't get me wrong. I have nothing bad to say about people, who don't go on the road and actually, uncover things, right, and knock door to door. But when something's true, and you're kind of the only one that knows it, and you can't really shout it out too much, mm-hmm. that can turn to a lot of anger sometimes. And I can definitely say that's where I am right now. Definitely.
And anger, I call it passion, but that's exactly what I see in you. And how do you deal with it? You know what I mean? How do you deal with it? Do you just work? Do you meditate? Because you're on a path that we're about to get into right now that is going to be very, very, very revealing. And as you started to peel back the layers and your blood is starting to boil, you can't let it get out of control. So how do you control it? See, you're doing it now. You're breathing, right?
I don't. I don't. I will just go out and do a video on my YouTube channel, and I'll talk about whatever it is at that moment. That's whatever it is I'm covering and stuff. But to deal with it, well, it's difficult because if it's not a video you're putting out and it's something that's so big, yet others don't. It's difficult. It is very difficult, and I've been honestly sat in a lot of frustration, pain, and everything else with this current documentary that I'm working on, and to see what others are saying about it that are carrying this story forward. I just shake my head at this whole industry sometimes, but at the same time, you have to keep reminding yourself of why you're doing what you're doing, and that you're doing it for the better of others, hopefully, and that that this is a real true story because you've done your Had I not done my research, Jimmy, I wouldn't be as passionate because I wouldn't go against someone unless I had the facts. Do you know what I mean? That would be plain wrong. Do you know what I mean? If I was to say to you right now, I think the Corrie story is totally false, or Emery Smith is totally false, or David Wilcock is making stuff up. I wouldn't know that unless I'd actually researched them properly, properly from a grounded perspective. But I have with one particular documentary that I'm working on now, and that's why I'm probably heated up.
So, what are you working on?
Well, you know what it is. It's the Mark Richards documentary. It's called Captain Mark Richards. www.captainmarkrichards.com.
Now, for
Captain
those,
Mark Richards.
oh, okay,
yeah,
you're gonna. I was gonna say, for those that don't know, who is Mark Richards?
Well, he's not a captain, and he's not been in outer space. Let's just say that. He was part of a murder on July 6, 1982. He murdered his good friend, Richard Baldwin, at 36B Front Street for money. For money, I will say that. That's definitely been confirmed. I'm actually in Marin County right now filming that documentary for the second time. I filmed it back in September, and the research just went into a different direction for that documentary, and I missed out quite a bit on the first take because it's such a big story in a sense. It's so varied. So Mark Richards was a criminal back in the day, and I've now got the proof to show that. I've interviewed the lead detective that arrested a guy called Crossin Hoover. So let me just paraphrase the story like this. So Mark Richards murdered Richard Baldwin with the help of two teenagers. One was Crossin Hoover, which actually did the murder. The other was Andrew Campbell, that got state testimony and was let free after being in juvenile, after being in jail for a while. But it was called something else. It's not jail.
Okay, so Mark Richards was convicted of the murder. So
Mark Richards was committed to first-degree murder, sentenced to life without parole in 1984.
And he's currently incarcerated where?
Incarcerated right now. He was in Vacaville. He's now in, where is he? Let me just... he's in Vacaville now. Sorry, they change prison every 15 years. As a lifer that's been in for 36 years, he's been to various different prisons, Folsom and another one. But he's in Vacaville right now.
Vacaville's also the state prison's mental hospital prison. Is he in Vacaville because of that?
No.
He's just he's in Gen Pop at Vacaville.
Yes, he's been there for however many years right now, and he'll probably stay there for the rest of his life, hopefully, as well.
So the murder happened in 1982. When was he convicted?
1984.
1984. So that is 35 years he's been in prison.
No, 36 years.
Or 36.
He was in prison back then.
Right. I got you. So 36 years, convicted of first-degree murder, life without parole.
Crossin Hoover committed the murder on his behalf. He was running a cult called Pendragon, and he absolutely twisted the minds of Crossin Hoover and Andrew Campbell. And I've been interviewing Crossin Hoover for a few weeks now, many weeks over recorded prison lines back in the day, when I started the research back in June. And
Now, there's a reason why we're talking about Mark Richards. We're going to get to that in a second. I know the audience is going, okay, what? This is a...
Well, let's just say, Mark Richards is Kerry Cassidy's top whistleblower. So she's interviewed him 10 times now from prison. She's been to see him.
Right.
And she's not interviewed any of the lead witnesses that I have. She's only interviewed Mark Richards and taken the words of Mark Richards.
And now, where does the...
and his wife, Joanne, as well. Obviously, Joanne is Mark Richards' current wife, and she goes on the UFO circuit to promote Mark Richards' work through the Earth Defense Headquarters, which luckily I got to see just recently, and actually got to speak to the neighbors, which was nice as well, and told them that the Earth Defense Headquarters is there to, look after them at the nighttime. So that was nice.
The captain part of Mark Richards, what are you alluding to?
Stolen valor. It's not true at all. He is no captain.
In the Navy?
It's crazy because actually at the Smithsonian Museum in Washington,
right.
There's a donation there made to have his father and him put on the plaque there as one of the plaques. So that was incredible to see that as well. But, anyone can do just a donation and be put on there. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But just the craziness of it all.
So he said that he was a captain in the Navy? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, captain in the Navy. In Vietnam, which is not true at all because we've now met the friends who place him at being here on planet Earth in Marin County, because I'm in Marin County right now.
Mm-hmm.
And no, none of it's true. And the sad thing is that this was a real murder. Richard Baldwin was a real person, and I met his sister,
right.
Susan Baldwin, in Maine. Sorry.
Right.
And she was as devastated as anyone could be 36 years later. And she was so upset that someone called Kerry Cassidy and Joanne Richards was perpetuating the lies and crap of Mark Richards. And it was just very, very, very sad.
Okay, let's stay on this. So at what point he's convicted? He gets convicted of murder. This is in court, done, jury. He's convicted of the murder, even though I believe he was present at the murder. He watched. He was. Yeah, he didn't.
Listen. I've been interviewing and sat down with the lead detective that arrested Cross and Hoover on July 13th, the week after the murders, and he's just given me 6 cassette tapes of the police interview. Okay, and listening to Cross and Hoover, and that I've put that vlog out just recently, and people can go to my channel and watch that vlog that I put out, which was meant to be angry. It was meant, and that's where I'm coming from right now. And in that vlog, you'll hear the description of 17-year-old Crossin, how he killed Richard Baldwin, and how he did it on the orders of Mark Richards, who was stood 1 foot away from him. He was not having tea with Mummy and Daddy, who are now passed away.
Mm-hmm.
He was there. And for Kerry Cassidy to have taken this story as her top whistleblower and to believe the word of Mark Richards and Simon Parks as verifying the story, and some other idiot that I can't remember his name right now. It's a sad day when you call yourself a top journalist. It's a very sad day. It's a sad day for our community as well. But I've got to thank them because, they gave me a wonderful documentary to put back the memory of Richard Baldwin. So thank you very much, Kerry.
Well, let's. I want to stay focused here on Mark Richards for a second. Where did the captain part?
That seems like it came from Kerry Cassidy or Joanne Richards, or the mind of the very sick and psychopathic Mark Richards. Now, the problem is here, right, is that a lot of people did not want to come on this documentary right now because they are scared shitless of this man because of his ability to manipulate people and his ability to manipulate current people in the jail cells that are leaving right now to do his bidding. I don't give 2 shits. Come kill me. I don't really care. Right. I'd rather get this story out, right? But honestly, meeting people, elder people who are scared right now, wow, that's how psychopathic this nasty man was.
Okay, but why why insert the captain part? I mean,
come on, Jimmy. You know why? You know why? It's to give it validation and everything else. Listen. If you're able to go to prison and you're the only one in this community that's researching someone that's in prison that's apparently part of the secret space program, it's ching 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 ching, and it's also sensationalization.
Oh, okay. No, I got you. Okay, so the captain part, it was there because he was a captain in the secret space program.
He was never a captain.
No,
He's not a captain.
I know that. I know. I'm trying to establish a timeline here. So,
the timeline of the captain, I would say, I'm going to put this out on a limb here and say that came from Crazy Carrie Cassidy. I'm going to say that.
Okay. So, but
just think about this, right? Just think, if this is her top whistleblower and she does not want to see my evidence and she put a private investigator on me, the guy investigating it, right? Mm-hmm. And no one gave two shits in the community when that came out. There was more concern. Is Kerry okay? Am I attacking her too much? Am I being too nasty to her? Hello? I'm the one that's been doing the research on this, along with other people that joined me on the journey to begin with, and we'll get into some of those other people in just a minute, right? And, and some people, what was so sad? You know what's so sad? Sat with a lead detective that's dealt with many murders, not just this, right? Many murders. And just to feel so embarrassed in front of him. I felt so stupid in front of him. I felt so stupid to try to tell him what was going on and what was going on in this community. And he was just shaking his head that people would believe Mark Richards. It was so embarrassing.
Okay, so we're going to head towards a break here shortly. So his story from prison, at what point did this secret space program, Captain Mark Richards, what year did this start to surface?
I would say it was a few years after Joanne Richards met him. And that was when, he knew he had someone he could manipulate again. And also, obviously, she's got the family home, which is worth millions. She's got that in a trust now. So I would say that, if I've got a house that's worth millions, if it was just the house was destroyed and the grounds was available, right, because the house is in disrepair, I've been down to the family home, then, maybe she'll keep a lie going just, because when he kicks this, when he dies, then maybe, she's going to get that. Or maybe she's just as, she believes him. I don't know. There's many questions that I've still got with Joanne that I'm still researching right now. Joanne, if you listen to this, yes, I am still researching you, hon. I've not given up on you. Don't worry.
Okay. So the secret space program didn't come up in court testimony.
Oh, come on. Jimmy, come on.
No, I'm asking you. I haven't researched this.
No. That's the insanity of our community to even think that was a reality.
Right. Very interesting. And so apparently Mark is sitting in a jail cell and he had years to...
he's a fantasy writer.
Right.
Mark is interviewing his friends, and I'm the only one that's doing it right now, right, along with my producer, interviewing his friends, right? This is what he was back in the day.
He was a science fiction...
He was a bullshit artist.
No cussing on the show.
I'm so sorry, but that's what it is. I'm sorry, but I'm so angry right now with this and the way I've been treated by this community as well. So angry.
Well,
I expected.
Right.
At the same time, you know what? I found my bliss. I can't complain too much.
Right.
It's a double-edged sword. It really is.
Right. So what is the fantasy part of Mark Richards' story? What
Everything.
is it? What? No,
Everything.
Hold on, Kevin. Focus. What is his story? Is he saying that he was part of the secret space program and he was off planet and that's why he couldn't have committed the murder? Am I understanding you correctly that he wasn't even here?
He's saying that he was having Yeah, okay, well, look, he's saying that he was framed for the murder of Richard Baldwin, that these two young boys did the murder, and he helped them to get rid of the body because they, he liked them, so, let's help them get rid of the body. So not only did he get rid of the body, but he spent on Mr. Baldwin's credit card when the body was missing for a week in San Francisco and other places. Look, he disposed of the body, so he arranged the killing. He wanted Willie Robles, another young man, to do the murder for him. Willie denied that. And when he met Crossan Hoover, Crossan was an angry, a little bit damaged young man who, just wanted love, just wanted to. He wanted a father figure, and he found it in Mark. And Mark saw that he could manipulate this young 17-year-old, and he did, because he had a death list. He had a death list with many people on that death list, and Mr. Baldwin was the top of that death list.
And why? Okay,
for money.
The murder was committed for money too?
Yes, of course it was, and I'm going to prove that in the documentary.
Okay,
because I've now found the proof of that. And I went back to the detectives with the proof, and they said, "We don't care, Kev. He's been done. He's in serving his time. We don't care anymore."
Right. Yeah, I can understand that too as well.
But these people came forward that I've interviewed because they cannot believe that he's made his way into the UFO community. They are sickened by it. I mean, I've interviewed his wife. His wife back in the day. She's so, she's upset. She's upset that this is even happening, and she came on because she wanted to say who this man really was. And she can't believe that someone called Kerry is doing what she's doing. She can't believe that someone called Joanne is doing what they're doing. It's sad, but it is what it is, and this is our community.
And so this is how I'm painting it in my mind. He is hoping that it's not going to get him out of prison. So is he doing this all because he's bored? He's got nothing to do? I mean, I don't...
Well, he's a psychopath. He's a psychopath. Don't forget that.
Right.
And actually, here's the thing. He wanted to set up Camelot back in the day. He wanted to set up the new Camelot in Marin County. He wanted to take Marin County over and set up. He was fascinated by Camelot. Okay. And what Kerry Cassidy's done is fulfilled that legacy. Kerry Cassidy knew him before before she set up Project Camelot. And obviously he's now got his Camelot through Kerry Cassidy, and he's now got his cult following that he always wanted. Well done, everybody involved.
Wow. Okay, all right. Now I'm starting to follow things here. Crazy complex situation. Let's take a break. Our guest tonight is Kevin Moore, formerly of The Moore Show. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We'll be right back. More with Kevin right after this. Stay with us. You have just listened to a full hour free preview of Fade to Black. To get the full show, all archives, just go to our podcast section at jimmychurchradio.com. You can also sign up to be a Fadernaut in our membership area, where we have downloadable MP3s. Go to jimmychurchradio.com. Go Bagley Tappy.